Hello and welcome to episode 228 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Of course, I am your host, Rick Doherty. On the show today, I'll be joined by regular co-host Sarah Says, as the two of us talk more about Epic Universe, specifically focusing on the lands based on Harry Potter and Super Nintendo. Before we get started, my birthday's coming up at the end of the month, and all I'm asking you to do for me is subscribe to the Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty YouTube channel. Since I've moved back to Pennsylvania, I've still shared a lot of Disney and Universal content, but I've also done some sightseeing in the Northeast, checking out a small town that is literally on fire from below, and visiting locations of historical significance. Before the end of this month, I also have to use a free ticket I got to Hershey Park, so I won't let that expire without a visit. There's a lot on the horizon on the channel, and you will want to be a part of it. Subscribe to the Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty YouTube channel, and if you are subscribed, like videos and podcasts, drop positive comments, and share videos and podcasts with friends. Right now, let's get things started. Thanks for joining us, Sarah.
Hello, thank you for having me back.
So we are going to continue wallowing in our own sadness that we are getting to watch everybody enjoy Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort, and we are still waiting until our first visit, but that's okay.
Yes.
Because I do think I want to wait a little bit to experience this for the first time, because as we'll talk today, there's some things that still aren't necessarily always working properly, and some of the procedures might change, and I want to give it time to figure out exactly what I need to do every day that I am there. So today, we are going to talk about two of the lands, the worlds, whatever you want to call it.
The portals.
The portals. We're going to talk about the Harry Potter Ministry of Magic portal, and we're going to talk about Super Nintendo World.
Woohoo.
So first, we talk a lot about Harry Potter, so I think we're almost going to get this one out of the way a little bit.
Yeah.
By talking about this one first, but we're going to go to the Harry Potter land, the big thrill ride, and the ride that has been causing some of these issues. Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. So this says, soar on a magical lift as you help Harry, Ron, and Hermione stop Dolores Umbridge in Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. So this ride has had, at certain points during previews, and since it has been opened, it's had virtual queues, it's had some problems with the way that it has operated. First of all, one of the reasons that you do 2 months worth of previews is so that you can try to work through some of those things. So it's not a criticism, but this has been the ride that I find most people have had the hardest time of getting to experience it.
Yeah, definitely. I really have only seen video and feedback and stuff from people who work at Universal who got those special previews before they opened to pass holders and influencers and the public and all of that. So it's a little disheartening, but at the same time, I think that's kind of the hiccups of getting through. And like you said, we're waiting to go until these hiccups are done. It's like when I went to Wizarding World of Harry Potter the first time, it was probably 2 or 3 months after the second part of the park had opened. And so here we go. But it's visually stunning. I mean, everything. If I didn't get to ride that ride, but I got to walk through the queue, I would be okay. Because holy moly, the fact that you go through the Flu Network, you get through there, and to open up, I cried when I walked through to Diagon Alley, and that's nothing compared to what I have seen of this queue and walking into the Ministry. It is straight out of the movie.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because my friend Danielle did a preview of Epic Universe, and she was not able to get their virtual queue to ride this that day, but they did let her go and experience the queue. And a queue is good if somebody is like, I'm willing to experience it and not even ride the ride.
Right? Oh my gosh. It's like breathtaking. It is huge. It is amazing. It looks like you literally walked into the movie set from everything that I've seen. And I literally just want to go walk the queue right now. Like, I'm okay if I don't get to ride the ride. And from what I've heard too, which I'm really excited about when I finally get to go, is there's so many cool hidden Easter eggs throughout the queue as well. Because if you know what happens with Harry and Ron and Hermione, and after the whole Harry Potter series and what comes later, all those things are hidden throughout your queue as well. So it's just like, oh, I want to see it in person.
And this ride is a 40-inch ride. So
I believe
that's
so, yeah.
pretty accessible. That's
Mm-hmm.
not the highest level. I think the ride vehicle is more like the one at Hogsmeade. I don't know why I can't think of the name of that off the top of my head.
At Hogsmeade. Which one is it, Hogsmeade?
That's the one where they
Gringotts.
strap you in, and not Gringotts.
Oh, no, it's not Gringotts. It's the Forbidden Journey, but it's not. It's actually the one in not villains. That's Disney. Sorry, the one in the monsters that you and Maz talked about.
Yeah, that one is
They
way
that one
more
is
like
the
it.
exact same ride mechanism. This one, the way I've seen it and I've heard, is a lot of people said sitting in it reminds them of a smaller version of Tower of Terror, because it's in an enclosed box and you're in a seat with just a lap belt. From what I've heard, it is a tight squeeze.
So I was gonna say, like, it's not the exact same thing. Like, they don't pull you into
Right,
a
it doesn't come
harness,
over your head. Right.
but there's an arm in the back of your vehicle,
Yeah, that moves it.
that moves you.
That makes
So
sense.
that was sort of why I was comparing it to that other ride.
Got it. Okay, yeah, because I know the one in the monsters, it definitely is exactly the same ride mechanism.
But if you don't have to pull the harness, you can have some shorter people and some bigger people. So
Definitely.
that's a positive there. We're going to move on to the show, and I'm going to try to say this in a way that doesn't get our podcast flagged on YouTube here. Le Cirque Arcanus.
I think it's Arcanus or Arcanus, yeah.
Well, I just thought for YouTube I would do Arcanus.
Arcanus, there we go. We have to do it, yeah, exactly, so we don't get flagged.
Come face to face with fantastic beasts at Le Cirque Arcanus, a spectacular mix of live performers, puppetry, and special effects. I think this is one of the things that they do so well in the other Harry Potter lands that I'm sure this is going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah. I've heard, actually, on some of the reviews that I've seen, I have heard people say so many people are walking around this and going to other places and not stopping. And people have been saying this literally is a do not miss attraction. It is, they said it's visually stunning. It's entertaining. It's literally for everyone. And there are people who have talked about that they would skip rides to go back to see this because they were so impressed by it.
And then the only other real attraction that they talk about in this land is the interactive wand experiences. Experience amazing new interactive wand magic as you cast spells and interact with fantastic beasts on the streets of Wizarding Paris. And I wouldn't normally mention this because this is basically just another one of those cash grab things where they're trying to sell you a wand. But when Danielle was there, she said that the TMs did a really good job of interacting with people as they were using their wands. Like the TMs were kind of encouraging more and more wand usage.
I feel like a lot of people were turned off by the wand usage because I know when I was there, my husband and I both got wands as part of like the show thing that they did. I love that. I know we've talked about it before where he got pulled up and then I went with him, but we both got our wands. But the thing is, because so many people were doing it, you had to sit and wait for it to reset and then maybe it would work again. But they were just so overworked that I really feel like, from what I've seen and what I've heard, one, I've heard that what happens on a lot of these is really cool. And there's some really cool hidden things and some very cool visual effects that weren't at the other two Harry Potter parks. But also that because it isn't inundated right now, that people are really getting the time to experience it and spend time with it. So I also am hoping they updated the wands a little bit. It's been 10 years since I've been there. And it was still a very new thing. But from what I've heard, there's 9 new wands that they released with this park that are supposed to be absolutely amazing. So I'm hoping now that the technology is sped up, so it makes me happy to hear that they are really encouraging people to do that.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those things that we talk about as this theme park continues to grow, continues to become more a regular part of the Orlando theme park experience. We're going to find out if they do continue to have the TMs really pushing the wands, really talking to kids who are using their wands, suggesting ways that they can get the most out of them. Because let's be honest, that's something that Disney would do for a week and then just forget about promoting after a while.
Right. Yeah. And the wand usage is such a big thing. And the fact that you can carry it to every single park you go to is awesome, because it's like, cool, if you get them into it at Epic Universe, then these kids will know, oh, when I go back to these other two, I can do it there too.
And then when we move on to the dining here in the Harry Potter area, one of the things about having the Paris backdrop as opposed to just the London, or I guess Scotland is where Hogsmeade is supposed to be, in Scotland, right?
Yeah, they don't ever say specifically where it is, but it's Scotland.
So one of the things about the Paris backdrop is I would probably be really into the food and some of these different dining locations. So they have Café L'air de la Sereine. You've been to France, so why don't you...
Do you know how long it's been since I've spoken French? Café L'air de la Sereine? I don't know.
Sounded right to me.
Please don't downvote us because we're not speaking French well.
As a matter of fact, easy, like us so that we can maybe get a sponsorship from Babbel.
Yeah.
And then we can learn how to actually promote this, right?
Hey.
What would Wizarding Paris be without its charming cafes? Dine inside or outside as you enjoy a quick bite of French-inspired cuisine for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, if the theme park is open past 7 o'clock, I guess, and then the name of the cafe.
Yes.
The other quick service is Le Goblet Noir.
Yep.
Dine at Le Goblet Noir, a time-worn haunt for dark witches and wizards to escape the prying eyes of the Paris Ministry. So both of these are quick service locations, but I do feel that they are going to have a little more theming than your average quick service. Would you agree?
I agree, because having eaten at the quick services at the other Harry Potter parks, they're all very well themed. It's like you're sitting in a cafe or you're sitting in a bar or a tavern. It feels just like that.
And then Bar Moonshine. Enjoy a taste of home at Paris's Bar Moonshine, where you'll find drinks served in a bar decorated with memorabilia of Wizarding Americana.
Oh, interesting. But I mean, it makes sense because technically this park is not just Paris, because it's Paris and London, because as soon as you hit the Flu Network, you end up in London at the Ministry of Magic. So there we go.
So, yeah, why don't you just let a novice like myself
Yeah.
know a little bit about where this land, this world, whatever we
Yeah.
want to call it, exists in the lore of Harry Potter?
So this specific, the main part of this park in Paris is actually it is not part of the direct Harry Potter movies. It is part of the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them franchise, especially the first movie, because as you'll see from what I've heard when you go to the show, is you're going to see these beasts and you're going to see these cool things that all have to do with that. So you're really being embraced into the Paris of that first movie with like Newt Scamander and that. And so you're seeing the places that may be more familiar from that franchise of like the greater Harry Potter world. So when you go through the Flu Network, then you're being put back into what we know from the Harry Potter franchise of actual Harry Potter. So it's the same, ultimately, it's all the same world. It's just happening at different times. So the main character of like Newt Scamander from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is actually like the grandfather of someone else who is in the Harry Potter as we know it world. so yeah, it's just basically really far in the past from where we're coming from the other Wizarding World parks.
Okay.
And then you also are learning now that there's more than one branch of the Ministry of Magic, which is their government, basically. So you're getting to see that side of it as well, that it's like, oh, Paris is ministry. There's also an American ministry. So it's kind of branching out now into more of the parts of the greater Wizarding World.
Excellent. So now we know.
I'll make you a flow chart.
And I just wanted to say that this is sort of a caveat with everything going on with J.K. Rowling and how she can't just sort of chill out a little bit.
Right.
It is also Pride Month.
Yes, it is.
And in honor of Pride Month and the person who does really the best coverage of Epic Universe, Alicia Stella, she is doing a fundraiser this month for the Trevor Project. If you want to sort of negate the money that you know you're going to be giving to J.K. Rowling when you first go to Epic Universe and want to make a big old donation, go to give.thetrevorproject.org/parkstop, give.thetrevorproject.org/parkstop. We have nothing to do with that. I just figured that she has really good Epic Universe coverage, so I like to plug that, and that she is doing something to try to help LGBTQ plus youth while we are talking about the Harry Potter land, and I just thought that was a nice side note. So now,
definitely,
let's head to a different portal, and for all of those of us who were born with a 198 in front of our birth year,
woo!
I am so excited for this one, and it is Super
So
Nintendo World. And I know you're excited. I know your husband is excited. I know your son is excited.
Yep.
Before we get into the individual stuff, just this land in general, how stoked are you to walk into it?
I am so excited. So I was excited. I haven't been there yet, but the one in California, I was excited. But then I saw this one and I am excited. Like it's amazing. It truly is epic. It's huge from what you see. I mean, as huge as you can be for a little area, but I'm so excited.
Yeah, this one is going to be, I'm trying not to use this phrase too much, but I think I can get away with it once in this episode. Next level.
Yeah.
And it is an intellectual property that I think through Mario Kart extends to younger generations, through Super Mario Brothers hits some of the people Gen X and millennials. So I think it is a really great long running IP, almost at the level of Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely. And it's Nintendo. I mean, especially Mario and things like that. It never stopped. It just keeps coming. So it's like we have our Mario that we grew up with. And then my son, not only does he have the Mario I grew up with because that's what we started on, but now he has newer Mario stuff. And so it's newer games, the movies, all of that. So it's just, yeah, it's timeless.
So the big ride, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. This is a 40-inch height requirement, but it does require somebody to be with the rider who is supervised under 48 inches.
Okay.
So I'm not exactly sure what that is. I don't have kids, but it feels like they're not just going to let kids ride alone if they're over
Yeah.
40, but you would have to be with somebody, a supervising companion, basically a parent, relative, guardian,
Yeah.
to get to ride if you're under 48 inches. This has some 3D, some 4D experiences, motion simulation, but it looks like this is going to be the really thrilling roller coaster in this land.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't heard a ton about this one because everybody is talking about the one we'll be talking about shortly. So I haven't heard a ton about it. If it's more like the one in Japan, then I can totally see that because I've heard that the ride that's like the big ride at Mario World in or Nintendo World in LA has been kind of a letdown because it's not fast. It's pretty tame and people are just kind of like meh. So like I said, I haven't heard a lot about this one. I have high hopes for it. It looks really fun, but I just haven't seen a lot because I feel like it's getting overshadowed by the one of the other rides.
And just a quick description: ride through iconic courses, throw shells, and collect digital coins to beat Team Bowser. You've never experienced Mario Kart like this. And from talking to my friend Danielle, who did get to experience this, she is saying that this is one of those rides where it is greatly enhanced if you
Okay.
have the wristbands or whatever those.
Okay. Yeah, the wristbands.
So if
There's
you
a lot of cool
buy
stuff you can
the
do with
accessories,
those.
right, much better than like web slingers, how they
I'm
tried to
imagining you
sell
have
you
to have the wrist for web slingers. That's exactly what I was thinking.
over at DCA. Anyway, so I think this is the one that you were talking about, that is the one that you really wanted to discuss, and that is Mine Cart Madness.
Yep.
Careen through the jungle and help Donkey Kong protect the golden banana on the thrilling family coaster Mine Cart Madness.
That is the one. I have seen so much stuff about this and how fun this ride is. And just the ride itself, how it is built, is I've heard just praise for this ride. And I really want to ride it.
And it is a 40-inch height requirement. It does not have the companion requirement like the other one. And I think this is going to be, or it is, I mean, it already exists,
Yeah.
a thrill ride that is still pretty accessible to
Mm-hmm.
everyone. I think you're going to want to give it a shot, even if you aren't a big roller coaster person, because the theming of this ride is so good that I think you're going to be distracted from any thrill elements.
Yeah, I don't think it's thrill in the way that from what I've seen and I've heard from people is I don't think it's thrill in the way that a lot of Universal rides are when we think of a Universal ride for a thrill ride. It definitely is faster. It's got the cool double track thing, so you don't feel like you are sitting in a roller coaster. You feel like you are in one of the Donkey Kong carts. And so it can do all the cool things like jumping over cracks and like, oh my gosh, this is a broken track, but we're still going to go over it. So it has all those cool effects, but I feel like it's not so thrilling that it would be scary. Like, I feel like my kid would absolutely love it, where he sees a big roller coaster. Like I said, I'm a picture of one of the roller coasters when we were staying across from Carowinds a couple weeks ago in North Carolina. And he's like, no, I'm not riding that. It's huge, right? But I think this, he'd be like, yeah, I'll do that.
And then I'm really excited about this ride. I know a lot of people aren't like jumping up and down for it, but this is kid friendly. It's Yoshi's Adventure. Join Yoshi's and search for the glowing eggs as you travel through Mushroom Kingdom landscapes in this enchanting, family friendly ride. And this feels like it is Super Nintendo World People Mover.
Yep. That's what I was thinking too. It looks great, relaxing. You get to hang out, and it's like a nice, chill ride through Super Nintendo World. I mean, what's there not to love?
And I just adore these types of attractions because, one, I'm not the biggest thrill fan, but one of the things that I love about theme parks is the different angles looking from the different sight lines and the different things you can see. I love riding the Seuss train over at Islands of Adventure because I get all those views. And I think, like, the last time I was at Universal Islands of Adventure, it was part of the Orlando Informer meetup.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like midnight, and Maz and I rode the Seuss train,
That's awesome.
and it was freezing. It was absolutely freezing. But you could just see like all over downtown Orlando, or at least that part of Orlando. And I love the idea of getting that like bird's eye view or Yoshi's eye view of Super Nintendo World and hopefully other parts of Epic Universe. It's one of the things I love about theme parks.
Yeah, I feel like with this one too, there's so many cool things to see in Super Nintendo World because there's so many interactive elements as well. If you have one of those wristbands, that I can only imagine what you can see, or hidden things. I've heard Nintendo has a game called Pikmin. There are these cute little plants, and apparently there are little Pikmin guys hidden throughout Super Nintendo World. And I'm like, so how many Pikmin do you think you can find on that ride? Like in different parts of the land.
And then, I mean, this might be the most exciting part of the whole land for people our age. Character encounters. Meet
Oh yeah.
Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Toad. I mean, meeting Toad, that would be amazing. It would be amazing.
It would be so good. It would be, I wish, so Toadette is my favorite. And I wish one day they bring out a Toadette, because I would like scream, and my 40-year-old self would be out there like, but oh my gosh, I don't care. My kid can go do something else if he doesn't want to, but I will stand in that line, and I'm going to meet Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, and Toad. I'm going to do it.
Absolutely. I'm down for the count there. I will be in that line. I'm just
Yes.
going to go through the restaurants very, very quickly. We have quick service, Toadstool Cafe, savor Chef Toad's tastiest creations at Toadstool Cafe while you watch playful scenery of the Mushroom Kingdom through the window. We have snacks and beverages, the Bubbly Barrel. Treat yourself to a refreshing tropical drink beneath the thatched roof of the Bubbly Barrel in the heart of Donkey Kong Country. Also, snacks and beverages at Yoshi's Snack Island. Nestled in the base of Mount Beanpole is this cozy burrow where you can enjoy a variety of juices and fruit-based specialty beverages. And then snacks and beverages one more time. I think they're trying to sell a lot of alcohol in Super Nintendo
I
World.
think so. But you know what? It's a lot of people our age. So
Turbo Boost Treats. Tap the brakes and stop at Turbo Boost Treats, a food counter where you can rev up with a variety of snacks. So I am really excited to see Epic Universe. I'm excited that soon Sarah will be on the East Coast.
Oh,
And
I'll no longer be Sarah from Seattle.
she'll be right off that exit on my way down to Epic Universe. So she'll just have to make sure that her husband's
I'll be
okay with me just
exactly
kidnapping her.
halfway.
Yeah. Just taking her for a day or two. We'll be
Yep.
back. It's fine.
It's okay. It's only an 8 hour. It's 7 hours and 54 minutes from our new house. Not that I've timed it or anything or looked it up on Google Maps.
And those times are always so accurate when you're talking about I-4.
Yeah, right.
So thank you so much for being here, Sarah. This was fun to have a conversation about Epic Universe. We're so excited about the new theme park, but it's also great just to have you back on the show.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. This was a great one. Thank you.
This has been episode 228 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Coming up next week, my good friend Jillian will be here to commemorate the 30th anniversary of her favorite Disney princess movie, Pocahontas. Disney has fluctuated from promoting this film to burying this film, and it has certainly not gotten the representation in the parks as some of the other princesses from the Disney Renaissance. We will do a deep dive into the real history of Pocahontas, Jamestown, and English colonization, cover the music and movie itself, and talk about the difficult relationship the Walt Disney Company has had with this movie. That will be next Thursday. Until then, have a great week.